And now, a poem. All right now, won't you listen? When I first met you, didn't realize I can't forget you or your surprise. You introduced me to my mind and left me wanting you and your kind. Oh yeah, I love you. Go ahead.
What was that?
The look on your face pleases me so much that I'm willing to end the show right now. That was all I wanted out of this show.
Something happened there. A lot happened in a short time. When you first started, I heard the noise, and I thought, what was that noise?
That was a magic wand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you started talking, and I could tell you were about to read or were in the beginning of reading a poem.
Yep,
a poem.
That was a poem.
And then I thought for a split second, this all happened in the course of about 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I thought, is Kenny reading a poem that's horrifying? And then I thought, is this real? Is this a real poem or is this a fake poem? And then I thought, he's punking me. Something bad or sexual or inappropriate
not
is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Those are that's the opening stanza for a song called Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath. A song about smoking weed that starts out this way. And then it's what we used to call in the 70s. I don't know if you remember this, acid rock. Before heavy metal. Yeah, before heavy metal was. Yeah.
I remember the term acid rock, but I can't say I know what it. But I will also admit to the fact that I don't know the difference between speed metal, heavy metal, all of the metals.
Right. All of the metal. What about German? What about the German metal?
Sure. There's a lot of metals.
Metal.
Yeah, death metal, evil metal, devil metal.
Itch metal.
Itch metal, rash metal.
Pirate metal.
I don't get it. Okay, well, that was interesting. That's an interesting poem.
I'm willing to bet that you not ever have been a fan of Black Sabbath and or Ozzy Osbourne.
I'm so glad you said that before I did. I could pretend that I'm a fan.
No, don't bother.
But I'm not. It's just not my cup of tea. Here's the thing. I have reverence. We all have our thing, right? I have reverence for Graham Nash. I have reverence for Joni Mitchell. I have reverence
the hippies.
For, James Taylor and all those.
Jackson Brown?
Jackson Brown, less so. Cat Stevens, awesome. This wasn't my jam.
No, I didn't think it was.
No.
My first exposure.
Was it yours, Kenny?
I didn't hate them. I guess.
But you weren't a huge Black Sabbath guy.
My first exposure was in the 70s when I bought a used stereo electrophonic that had a built-in 8-track player in it.
With a turntable on the top?
No, it was just
just
that, and I still have it. It's actually sitting in my shed.
Oh my God.
And with that included was a box, one of those little suitcases full of 8-track tapes. It was Sabbath and Foghat and Nazareth, Uriah Heep. Do you remember that name?
I remember all the names, yeah.
I can't name you one Uriah Heep song. No. Iron Butterfly.
Yeah, well, that was there. I remember all the names, and if they had a single that they were known for, I probably know that, but that's about it.
Ozark Mountain Daredevils.
Yeah.
Maybe a few other bands. I don't remember. And then I had a friend.
Kansas. That was probably more softy rock.
Hated Kansas. That was late 70s. Yeah. A friend that was really into Sabbath and Tony Iommi, the guitar player. So he used to play Sweet Leaf, that song, incessantly. And I'm not sure how many times I saw Ozzy. I may have seen him in the 80s. My recollection, obviously, very foggy. But where I did see him, and I do remember, in 1997, and I've got to bring up a text message that I shared with McLean this morning.
97. Don
McLean. Wearing a KLBB AM 1220 Beautiful Music T-shirt.
Wow.
I went to Ozfest. at the Metrodome in
Hold it.
97.
You went to Ozfest with that shirt.
Yeah, with the KLB.
That KLBB radio station was very well known at the time for being for people 75 years old and older.
Ethel Merman, and Frank and Dean.
Yeah. There's no business like show business.
And the sole purpose was I just wanted to see the disaster that it was. And that's Ozzy was playing, Black Sabbath was playing, Marilyn Manson was there.
What?
Rob Zombie, maybe Pantera. It was at the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome.
Wow.
I know I got free tickets. It might have been my buddy's show. Gene might have promoted it. Maybe that's why. And what I took away from it was the kids that were wearing these Marilyn Manson T-shirts. And now my recollection is the T-shirt said F Jesus.
Okay.
And now I've since looked it up, and I think I might be wrong. It was something about Jesus, but I can't find a T-shirt that actually says that. So anyway, this morning, and Don McLean and I have talked about this before. So here's the text exchange. This is from me at 7 a.m. You were at the Ozfest tour in 97 in the Metrodome, right? I seem to remember that we both were there. Don said, I was at that show, but we were there to assess and figure out what we were going to build for the client, which was Sega Dreamcast.
Oh my gosh.
So she was working, and then she did a half a year to do Gatorade, 98, 99, 2000. But in the summer of 2000, she was on the full Ozfest tour. So she either saw or heard Ozzy many, many times.
You mean on behalf of Gatorade or whoever she was working for?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Well,
and I mentioned, I'm not going to... I just mentioned Marilyn Manson, and Don said, yeah, he was gross. He would pee in a bottle on stage in front of everybody and then spray it on the crowd. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't want to come off as a prude.
No, please do.
But I'm going to sound like ridiculous to some people. But first of all, why? What is wrong with you, you animal? That's so gross.
It was a very calculated show business decision.
So he was trying to be edgy, right?
Right.
That proved to everybody
he had to compete with the king of show business, Ozzy Osbourne, who, remember, he used to bite the head off doves. And then some knucklehead threw a dead bat on stage. And Ozzy, being Ozzy, grabbed that and bit the head off that. And there was all sorts of controversy.
Did he really do that?
Well, that was the story at the time.
Right. But the doves, did he really? I mean, is that real? Because I heard that as a kid.
Well,
and now it's 100 years later. And I don't know if it actually really happened or not.
And my answer to that is, does it matter?
Does it matter?
Yeah. Because
part of the lore.
Yeah. He's the king of show business. Okay. I mean, all of that devil worship nonsense. Aleister Crowley, do you know who Crowley is? Kind of a devil worship guy from the late 1800s. All of that was a show business approach to the music game.
Here's the thing, Kenny. You and I have known each other for a long time. I am by no means a prude. By no means.
No, you're
not at all. I've been in this business too long, for starters.
Yeah.
However, I'd sound like one when I try and get my head around the whole devil worship, pentagrams, animal heads being bit off. It's like looking at a bunch of adults who have been recessed back to evil 9-year-olds. And I don't get it. And I sound like a prude, and I know it, and I don't care.
Well, it's okay that you don't get it. What's important is that
that it disgusts me.
Oh, no, that many people did get it, and they loved it.
Right.
And they got the attention of, I don't know if you remember, Tipper Gore. Remember what Tipper Gore's mission was?
Yeah. Well, she wanted to have ratings on records, right?
Right. And she succeeded.
And by the way, I was against her.
Right.
All the way through that. I was never on her side.
Right. But musicians and bands realized right away, you get that tag on your album, you're going to sell a lot of
That's
albums.
the first one kids wanted to go buy, right?
Yeah. Well, the first one I remember was in the 70s, and it was Kiss. And for some reason, the makeup and the breathing fire and the spitting blood.
Yeah, and the tongue and the devil.
And the tongue. And I actually, somebody in my life at the time said KISS stands for Kings in Satan's Service.
I've heard that, but it's been years since I heard
Isn't that hysterical?
Oh my God.
It's so funny. Yeah.
It is when you kind of think about it. Why would they be named KISS? That's kind of weird and doesn't really fit with their image, but that does.
And when did all of this start? Before we were born, with Elvis gyrating his hips. Because Elvis...
Go ahead.
He was protested by the religious folks.
This just goes to show that it's true, though, Kenny, that whoever's younger than you, and now it's for me, it's everyone.
Yeah.
Whoever's younger than you think whatever they're doing is Satan worship.
Yeah.
Or you think they're crazy.
Right.
Because I remember thinking that when Elvis gyrated his hips, I could never understand why people freaked out.
Right.
The Beatles having long hair is laughable.
Right. Not long at all.
Like it's down to their the top of their ears.
Yeah, barely shaggy.
The people were outraged about that.
Yeah.
The sex, drugs, and rock and roll period, which, by the way, those same people, I was just thinking this the other day, who went to Woodstock and were naked and doing drugs and smoking pot and dropping acid and doing all that. Yeah. They're the prisses amongst us today.
Yeah.
That are, shaking their fingers at us.
Yeah.
It's just like you must grow out of rebellion or something.
I kind of feel sorry for the kids that fall for it. And when I say that, I'm thinking of Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
oh, my God.
What are their followers called?
It's something weird. Isn't it something about butts?
Something, but they
like butt munchers or something like that.
They put on the makeup, and the high school kids, they used to go to school. Well, no wonder you're getting your ass kicked every day by the jocks. Look at you.
Look at you. You look like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. And I've always said I really have been consistent about this. Here's the thing. Whenever you think you're defying authority, but you're in a group of millions doing it, you have become a conformist to nonconformity.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's always true. And they don't understand that.
No, they don't understand.
No, it's like you are such a rebel that 1 million other people are rebelling in the exact same way.
Right. Gwar, I don't know if you've heard of them, but I've seen them a bunch of times.
I've heard of them. Do they wear like monster costumes?
Yeah. And they used to be in the main room quite frequently.
Okay.
So I'd go see them just for the spectacle of it. I couldn't name you one Gwar song or album, but I've seen them a bunch of times.
When were they big?
I saw them in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, late 80s into the 90s.
I've heard people whose taste I respect like them.
And
I know very little about them other than they wear monster costumes.
Right. Rob Zombie. I know a guy that hung out with Rob Zombie for a weekend here in the Twin Cities and said Rob Zombie was one of the nicest, laid-back, coolest guy he's ever met. Very well-read and a cool guy.
I love that. We heard the same thing from Kat Perkins.
Right.
When we were talking about... Who were we talking about?
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, yeah. She's touring with Kid Rock.
Yeah.
And she said the exact same thing, that like he knows his lane.
Yep.
And he knows exactly what you were saying earlier. He knows what appeals. But when you talk to him off that, Bob, his name is Bob.
Yeah.
He's just like this great guy. He's very accepting of everyone. He's very well read.
I used to call it when I first started doing traffic and I was looking for my lane, a way to, my goal when I got back into radio in the early 2000s was to survive. I just didn't want to get fired again.
Get fired.
and plus bring attention to myself. And I would call it, it's time to light my hair on fire.
Right.
And that's a reference to Jimi Hendrix, who one time lit his guitar on fire and then found that everybody was screaming for him to do that thereafter. And he'd have to, do something outrageous just for the attention. So that's what I would call it, doing the knucklehead traffic reports that I used to do and kind of still do a little bit.
You still do them.
but it's not as outrageous as it used to be. I mean, I don't say things like the crosstown is thicker than Hillary's back hair. I don't do stuff like that anymore.
Did you used to?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, it was on rotation. It was like a top 40 playlist.
Wow.
I had a whole list of these things.
I remember seeing that, like, truth be told, backstage secrets. I would walk into Kenny's studio, which is now, we call it AM Dub.
Yeah.
And you would have a list of all your insults and all your stuff on the wall, and you would just like pick and choose.
Remember the Mel Gibson movie where he played Jesus?
Yeah,
and
Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah,
I don't think he played it, but he had some role in that movie.
Yeah, and they were speaking some kind of weird language, and I learned.
No, I'm wrong. It wasn't Last Temptation of Christ. It was more recent than that.
No, it was that.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I wrote a traffic report for Joe. Joe read it, and I would translate it. No, I would read it in this funky, and then Such would translate it to northbound 35W, slow from the crosstown to downtown. And I wish I could find that tape.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But that's what I would call lighting my hair on fire, just doing absolutely
the spectacle of it all.
Stupid things. And that's what rock and roll is. A lot of it is, anyway.
Well, and speaking of stupid things, and speaking of rock and roll, sort of rock music for sure, there's a story that we're on the late heels of, but I do want to talk about it.
I'm dying to talk about
the
this.
two people with the most punchable faces I've seen in a really long time.
Don't give away.
I'm not, but we're going to talk about those two people. All we have to say is concert cheating Jumbotron.
Yeah.
We'll do that next.
So we're in the middle of summer road trip season here in the United States of America. You may have noticed a lot of motorcycles headed out to Sturgis. It's that time of year again. And DennisKirk.com, no matter what kind of motorcycle you're on, if it's a Yamaha or a Harley, whatever, DennisKirk.com is the best and easiest way to shop for parts and accessories. And you also may have noticed, you get out on the freeways, and especially on Sundays in the outskirts, you'll see vehicles pulling trailers with very muddy UTVs, these side-by-sides, ATVs, or even dirt bikes. And they're coming home from various riding areas. DennisKirk.com, also a great source of parts and accessories for those vehicles. Doesn't matter what kind of motorcycle you're on. Doesn't matter if you have a sport UTV, one that can jump and go through deep mud holes, or if you just have a workhorse for around the property. Dennis Kirk will equip you with all the parts and gear and apparel that you're looking for. If the part exists, DennisKirk.com has it in stock. Over 185,000 parts in stock right now. And I love this, one of the best parts of Dennis Kirk, same day shipping on orders placed before 6 p.m. And if that order is $89, don't worry, it ships for free. Fitment on clothing, helmets, you can also get free return shipping on that stuff. So don't worry about that. No matter what you ride, get equipped with DennisKirk.com. Amy, the world loves cheating scandals. I can't get enough of this nonsense.
I can't either. And you know what's interesting? I have not talked to one person, not even 1/4 of a human being, that feels at all bad for either one of these two people. They're so flamingly stupid. And here's the thing, Kenny, and I know that I think you and I feel slightly different about cheating. We'll get into that. But those two they have the most punchable, smug faces. And when that guy falls out of frame or like pushes himself out of frame, the irony is that had he never done that, none of this would be being discussed.
That's just it.
If he had just stood there and acted like, chill, dude, man, like just chill out. If he would have just been chill, none of this would have happened.
And I don't know if you read this, but that's exactly what the gal that recorded the video, that's what she said.
Right.
She actually said that. If they would have just stood there, She never would have put it on social. Nobody would have noticed.
Nobody except the 55,000 people in the stadium would have seen
right. It. And maybe his wife and family would have found out eventually.
But probably
maybe not.
Probably not. I mean, here's the thing. It is such an interesting, and I want to know what you think about this. When you watch that tape, and I think most of us have seen it at least 10 times, if not 100 times.
Yeah.
As you watch it, there's such a fascinating transition that happens from, we're just swaying with the music and I'm not married to him and he's not married to me. We're just like having such a great time. To, he drops out of frame.
Yeah.
And she like whips around backwards. Like, that's going to help.
She reacted first right away.
But he, as she's turning around, he is scrambling for the corner of the frame.
Ground.
And then wouldn't you just love to have seen secondary video? Was he then crawling on the floor to somewhere?
I bet he did.
What happened? Did he just lay on the floor?
The people that were surrounding them thought it was the funniest thing they had ever seen. The gal right next to the other. She started laughing. Some other dingaling comes in out of the frame from behind them, and he's waving and laughing.
At first, I thought that was the same guy. I had to look at it a couple times because the guy that comes in and waves after the other guy falls out of frame has the same color shirt on, kind of the color you have on right now. Really kind of a bright blue.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the same guy at first. I was like, are you really coming back and waving now? But no, it's a different guy.
From what I hear, they're fellow employees.
And here's the deal. He was, until recently,
until the weekend,
the CEO of like a tech firm.
Yeah.
And she was the HR executive. I think she was called like the chief officer of people, which again makes me just want, how punchable is that?
That just makes me angry.
Stop it. You're an HR head, whatever.
Wait a minute. As the head of HR,
don't you know better?
Maybe?
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. I mean, just to get the job, you ought to know.
What a moron.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. At some point leading up to this concert, either the day of or the weeks preceding it, they knew a couple of things. One, there was a concert coming up and Coldplay was going to be there.
Yeah.
2, they're not married to each other.
Right.
3, they're having sex with each other.
Are they?
4, I don't think that's really in question.
Okay.
4, I'm a CEO and you're the HR chief of people or whatever you are.
You don't see a problem there?
We're top executives at a company.
Yeah.
You know what we think's a good idea? Not to go to some hotel room where nobody knows your name and you use aliases. Let's go to an event where there are somewhere between 50 and 75,000 people. And these events known to have cameras trained on the audience, and let's just cuddle together. And I guess they were making out just before this.
Oh, they were?
Yeah. There was some making out.
In front of were they shit-faced? Were they drunk?
Kenny, I don't know them.
That's what we do when we get drunk.
I know.
And then we pretend we forget about it.
Like it never happened?
Yeah, the following Monday.
Yeah, that's weird.
When we talk about cheaters, and you're kind of breaking the mold here. I was ready to fight with you about this because normally when we talk about cheaters, it's always women blaming men. But you don't really see it this way.
No, I think they're both morons. And here's the thing. I'm just full disclosure. Many, many moons ago, I was married. I have a child who is now an adult. That marriage ended because the person I was married to cheated on me when I had a baby from a year to 2.5 years old.
I wish we would have talked about this. How deep can we go here? Because I've got a million questions about this.
Okay, go ahead.
How'd you find out?
It's kind of classic now. At the time, I thought it was like super invasive, but then when I realized what was going on, I didn't. I was, speaking of punchable faces, I was the person in the home that paid all the bills, including the cell phone bill.
Oh.
Which lists every call you make and at what time and for how long you talked.
Oh, geez.
So as I just had this sense like something didn't seem right. Something seemed off. And so I just was like, one day I just opened the cell phone bill and I was like, I'm just going to take a quick look. And like on page thinking, and by the way, this person I was married to was in a business that used cell phones constantly, a mortgage person.
Okay.
Constantly on the phone with clients.
Yeah,
With his cell phone. So I think of this thick stack of literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls. What are the odds I'm going to find something weird? So on the second page, I notice one number is coming up at 2 a.m.
Oh, God.
3 a.m.
Oh, really?
5 a.m.
Really?
On days that I'm home and asleep in my room, and so is he.
Oh.
But there are phone calls going on.
Or so you thought.
So I called that person.
You called?
Yeah.
Oh, before you confronted your husband?
I called just to see who would answer and who it was.
But you
that person.
Wait
Let me give you. Okay.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Did you call with your phone or his phone?
My phone.
Oh, okay. Bummer.
So they had no way to know.
All right, go ahead.
And it was
right.
a woman. And I hung up because I didn't really know what. This was literally 2 minutes after I found it. And I didn't know what. I hadn't collected my thoughts enough to know what I was going to say. But I just remember sitting at the table on my deck at my house in Plymouth going, oh my God, my whole life has just blown up in front of my face. What am I going to do? So when I see these people, and I don't need anybody's, you don't have to feel sorry for me now. Everything's great. But at the time, it was horrible.
Amy, since we've started talking about this, I'm looking at my recents.
Did my ex-husband text you?
No. But when I look at my recent phone calls, I have called you way more than I've called my roommate.
Your wife. Other people would call that person your wife.
But she is normally sitting in the same room with me.
Exactly.
When I'm talking to you.
Exactly.
And when you answer, I go, hey, dum-dum, what's up?
It's not like there's any calls or texts between us that are the least bit sexy.
It's not,
No.
What are you wearing? Are you wearing that couch cover again?
Yeah, right? I love that shirt that looks like it's somebody's lazy boy chair cover.
What do you think this situation...
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
let me just tell you how the story ended.
Finish this, yeah.
Okay, so blah, that I end up, obviously, as the moment has to come where, and it didn't take long, I have to confront this person. And I did. And they then, of course, blamed me, which is what they always do, for going through his phone records, and that was an invasion of privacy. I was like, but your unit was in somebody else's unit. That seems private.
What, how long after the childbirth did this happen?
A year and a half.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, year and a half. But
let
me tell you how the story ended. Okay,
first of all, I want to know what led to, were you guys still having,
I'm not talking about that.
Okay, good.
But it was fine.
That's fine.
It was fine.
Oh, it was fine. That's all I need.
It was fine.
That's all I need.
That was fine. I think there are some, I'm not saying all, there's a fraction of men in the world that having a bunch of entities around, or one or two entities around called children whose needs suddenly come before yours doesn't work for them.
Oh, yeah. See, it was the opposite for me. When my son was born, everything else got dropped.
Yeah.
And he was the sole focus. I couldn't imagine. I even stopped going out. I stopped drinking. My doctor thought I was an alcoholic. I quit drinking because I was too busy raising my kid.
Well, and that's what adults do, Kenny. That's what parents are supposed to do.
Yeah.
In my view, that's what you were supposed to do. Some don't. But I ended up getting divorced. Had that not happened, quite frankly, I would not be sitting here talking to you, because I had left my job. And at that point, I realized I had to go back to work, and in a hurry. I had to go back to work and figure out how to support me and this, at the time, 2-year-old. And by the time we got to this point, and then my ex-husband married someone else, that person that he was having this affair with. Yeah. They got married, and that person was so lovely to my son, which was a really hard. Can you imagine handing your child over to a stranger who was having an affair with your spouse?
I don't.
Every other weekend or whatever the deal was. This person was so lovely to Max that we ended up being friends. And when this person cheated on her, which often happens, she came to me and was like, so how would I know? I was like, look at his phone records. And she and I ended up best buds, and they got divorced.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we were good friends.
Oh, he's chronic.
Yeah. But, and all of that is only to say, who cares about my story specifically? But, like, when you watch this stuff happen, this is just me, and I'm sure many people who have been in this situation, I look at these two douchebags who are so proud of themselves until they're not. And I think about their wives and or people they care about and how embarrassing it is for their families, and that there are people behind this who get hurt and their faces are punchable.
Part of me wants to tell you that you don't understand what it's like to carry around that swimsuit area and how that does all your thinking for you. Royce has a phrase that we use all the time, and it's spread to my friends too. That swimsuit area of yours, we call that undefeated. Undefeated. It wins every single time.
Okay.
Every time. Undefeated.
Go ahead and get on Mike Reavers, you goon. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Their situation, were they working
and yours,
together?
Hold it. Let's go back to your swimsuit area.
Yeah.
100%
Mine doesn't care anymore. No, mine doesn't
care
anymore. Yeah,
okay.
I'm too old. Doesn't matter.
It's retired.
It's retired.
Yeah.
After losing time after time after time, it just hung it up.
After a while, you just give the game up.
Yeah.
Did they work together?
They kind of did. They weren't in the exact same office, but they did professionally encounter each other, yes.
Do you think work wives and work husbands, do you think that leads to cheating? Because I have had many work wives over the years, and you're one of them.
Right. I think it can. I don't think it always does.
My line about the work wife has always been, it's just like a real marriage. We only talk about our kids and we never have sex.
Exactly. Well, and I think, too, that, here's the deal, quite honestly. Marriage, I don't think I'm telling either one of you two guys anything you don't know. Marriage is hard. Relationships are hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and it's not for the faint of heart. No. And people screw it up, and it's hard. And here's the thing, though. I think that when children are involved, I feel like we owe them turning over every rock to make it work if it's possible. But if it isn't, and both parties are going to be miserable, then kids don't want to grow up in that either. You also owe them not having two miserable parents.
Right.
But maybe don't cheat when you have kids.
Your parents were always
or just
married.
Leave.
Your parents were, they had a solid married from start to finish, right?
Well, here's the thing. They were married for 61 years, and they died married to each other. Were there tough times in there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember sitting in family counseling with them when I was a late teenager.
Yeah.
And things were not great. But the one thing I saw by the end of their lives, which I suppose informs this, is that they may not have always been passionately in love with each other in any given moment over those years, but they always had each other's backs, and there was a deep and abiding bond between those two people that had nothing to do with sex or lust or anything else.
Friendship, basically.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the term micro-cheating?
I'm not. What does that
Having
mean?
an emotional connection with somebody of the opposite sex that is not your partner, not your husband and or wife.
Huh.
Secretly messaging somebody.
What do you think about that?
I'm very, very liberal when it comes to micro cheating. And I don't even call it cheating. I call it just, she's got her friends. I have my friends. Some of her friends are guys. Some of my friends are women. And there's a lot of them. And I don't think either one, I certainly don't have a problem with her friends. And I don't think she's never said anything.
Right.
I just introduced her to a couple of really close friends of mine 2 weeks ago. And they got along great. And now these good friends want to do things together.
With your wife?
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
No, I think it's a pain in the ass. No, I don't. No, I think it's a pain in the ass.
I think that's just like when a guy or anybody walks into a room and your current wife or current girlfriend and your ex-girlfriend start talking in a corner. It makes you crazy, right?
Have you
It
ever
would make
been
me crazy.
Have you ever been in a bar when a couple of women that you've been seeing both show up? Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Does that happen to you?
Well, before I was married, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And did you enjoy that?
no, I fled the scene. Yeah, I got the hell out of there. Yeah.
I fled the scene.
What do you think about open relationships?
Okay. This is going to sound like I'm contradicting everything I just said.
Yeah.
I think that kids these days with the polyamory and all that kind of stuff, I actually think two things. I think if you're going to have kids, you should commit to that relationship while you're raising those kids because I think it's better for kids to have a base.
Yeah.
That being said, I do not think one person can provide for every need that another person has. I just don't. And I think kids these days are onto that. I'm not saying what they're doing is right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just saying I was talking to my son, who's a Gen Zer, and a friend of his, and they were like, they're seeing each other, but they also have other people they see that might be just an emotional connection. And their case is we don't think one person can fill every need and every interest you have. And I'm not sure they're wrong.
Huh.
What do you think about that?
I call that friends with benefits. And long before I got married, I had a friend,
with benefits.
Yeah. And there was an emotional connection. We were good friends, but, we would occasionally, address
Take it
each
beyond
other.
friendship.
Address each other's needs.
Right.
And then when I met my current wife, that just ended.
So.
And.
Okay, but hold it. With the other relationship, why? I'm interested if you remember. Why did the relationship with your wife eclipse that relationship?
Because much more stable, not prone to weird outbursts,
crazy wackadoodle.
The crazy matrix,
the crazy hot scale.
Yeah,
from How I Met Your Mother, where the crazier they get, the hotter they need to be to stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus, at the time, she could outdrink me, which I thought was just incredibly awesome. She could outparty me, and then she didn't try to change me in any bit. All my foibles and issues at the time were fine. Our problem was we're both very, very stubborn. And so we did the typical break up, get back together, break up, back together. And then finally we just said, this is a pain in the ass. Next time, let's just work through it. And here we are 80 years later, and we're still married.
What happened to her, the woman you didn't marry?
She ran off to California with some dude, and then that didn't work out and came back, and I think now she's married, and I believe happily so. I don't know. I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Do you think she was enduringly crazy, or did she settle down?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy that's a hard...
A relative term?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's always reasons for your... crazy.
First, I have nothing
that come from childhood or the way you were raised.
I have nothing but empathy for crazy.
Yeah.
And I have my own.
Yeah, and I've actually been attracted to crazy, and I love crazy. I just don't want it in my house.
That's so true.
I love, crazy is fun. I've always been attracted to weirdos, nut jobs, crazy people, male and female, not sexually, just they're fun people. Crazy's fun.
I love eccentrics. I mean, I remember going to, I'm going to leave names out of this because I'm trying to not lose friendships. But I know people who have friends who they invite me to spend time with. It's a group, and they are the most responsible, smart, good citizen, wonderful people, and they couldn't be more boring to me.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
I used to know people like that. Don't you think you've had enough to drink, or why are you those people that
or
question.
Or just so
yeah.
I remember having a conversation once, and Kenny, I think I told the story not long ago, but you'll understand this. I was having a conversation with one of these people and a couple other of these people who are, again, super stable jobs, super responsible, pretty successful. They probably mow their lawn and fertilize and do all the plantings and the
now
things.
you've just described me, but
I know,
go ahead. This
I
isn't
know.
hurtful
but
at all.
without the dirt baggishness that goes along with that.
You bastard.
I know. But respectfully. But I remember talking to them and I was describing what I thought was a really funny story. I was telling this funny story about when Jay Coles went to the workhouse for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But the Hubbards kept him employed so he wouldn't have to stay in the workhouse all day, every day.
Yeah.
He would come here and work in what is now my office, which is ironic. But he would come here and work. Then he would go back to the workhouse.
Yep.
Then we'd come and work and go back to the workhouse. But he had been let go. He had been laid off before all this happened, but they were like, just stay.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of things we can have you do. You do those things. And then when your jail term is over and you don't have to be locked up in a cell every day, all day, every day. It was just jail. It wasn't prison. And then you can go. So he did that. And on his last day of being in the office, because he would be in the office and we would see him for like 3 months or 2 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We got him a cake that said, we went to Willette and we said, we want a cake that says, congratulations on getting out of jail.
That's so awesome.
We want jail cell bars and like one of those black and white striped prison uniforms, right?
Right.
And so I'm telling this story to the people I just described.
The squares.
I'm telling the story, and they're just like the woman at Willette when we went to pick up the cake, blinking at us like slow blinking.
Don't you slow blink
Just
at me.
Slow blinking. And the lady said when we picked up the cake, she handed it over the counter at Willette and said, congratulations that your friend got out of jail. And you could just see her please leave the facility immediately. So I'm telling this story to the squares who slow blinked at me. And one of them said, somebody at the table said, and I quote, in what professional universe is that okay? About the cake.
Ours.
Right.
That's why we work in that environment.
I don't know what to do with those kind of people.
Right. Do you suppose, I have a theory about those people, that they're actually more screwed up than the rest of us that wear our crazy on our sleeves.
I agree.
Yeah, because they're hiding
something.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about a person I know today who I love and adore, but they are so eminently sane that I think they might be a psycho.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Right?
Do you think if somebody in HR hears this story that I'm about to tell, do you think we'll get in trouble?
Maybe.
And I'm just going to say it. Remember when I sent you a dick pic?
I do.
And I set it up like this. I said, I'm about to send you a dick pic. And then 5 seconds.
Which I think I said, no, please don't.
And 5 seconds later, I sent you a picture of Richard Nixon. And I am still, 15 years later, laughing my ass off.
You think that's funny still, don't you?
Yeah. I love that story.
See, and I think that's funny. But if you told that story in front of these people, they would they look at you like you are, in fact, mentally unstable and probably dangerous.
Do you think?
I don't know.
Getting back to this couple.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are ways to successfully cheat and not get caught, or do all cheaters get caught?
Here's the thing. Nowadays, in 2025, the digital footprint is such, it would be hard. It would be really, really difficult, don't you think? To hide that
to get away
between
with it?
Cell phones and social media and private message. I mean, I think that if there's any degree of access, here's the thing: if your spouse has access, they're going to see it. If you deny them access, then you're suspicious.
I've never looked at her phone. Unless she showed me something.
But you don't really care. Not that
That's
you don't.
True.
It's not
That's
that you
true.
don't care about her. You do care about her.
Yeah.
But you don't. If she was cheating, would it bother you?
Probably not.
Okay, then.
I don't know.
She
Maybe
knows
it would.
that.
Yeah.
She knows that.
So I came up.
Your wife is so much smarter than you have any idea.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Way smarter than you're giving her any credit for. I know you think she's smart, but she's like 100 times smarter than that.
Yeah.
She's onto you.
Or she doesn't care.
She could, true. Should we take a little break? Because then we can.
Yeah, because before we go, I want to talk. I've come up with 5 rules on how to cheat and get away with it. I think they're pretty solid.
Okay,
We'll
great.
be right back. These are Kenny's 5 rules for cheating successfully. Number 1, never tell anyone. Don't tell your best friend. Don't tell your cousin that you see every 4 years. Don't tell anyone. Number 2, leave no trace. Pretend you're going into the boundary waters. Leave no trace. Destroy all evidence.
But hold it. In this day and age, what does that mean? Meaning what? What about emails?
Yeah.
What about texts?
Yeah, you have
Can
to
you
get
do
rid of
any
all
of that?
Yeah, I think
Or delete
so.
them?
Yeah. You know what? I delete, except for 4 people, my family, I delete all text messages at the end of the day.
Really?
Just because, but then I also delete my deleted email file just because I think it's a mental problem with me. I need things tidy.
Gone.
Yeah.
Oh, like an OCD thing.
Yeah, I think that's why.
If you saw my phone right now, I think you'd have a nervous breakdown.
So I'm guessing you have text messages, like 800 of them on there.
I've never deleted a text message in my life.
Oh, I would not be able to delete that. No, I have to, it has to be tidy.
Let me see. I'm going to just look and see how many calls. It's 90. I have 90 calls that I haven't done something with.
Here's my text messages, and this is today only. Walgreens, John Height, Matthew, you, Dawn, Deborah, Mom, Dan, the boss,
Okay.
Dave Dahl, the weatherman, who, by the way, he's doing good.
Okay, good.
My dad and my son.
Just today? That's a lot.
Yeah, it seems like a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You've been chatty.
And they'll all get deleted by the end of the day. Do your cheating far away from home, preferably out of the country, even better in the military, and always under the influence of alcohol or roofies.
Roofies. That's okay. That's
because then you have an excuse.
There's so many things. Oh, you want a roofie yourself?
Yeah, and number 4, that's number 3. Number 4, always blame roofies.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
And that ties into number 5, and this comes from the great Orville Thompson. Remember our former cleaning guy?
Used to be,
he and I were fast friends. Might have been the funniest guy I ever met. And Orville once gave me the best advice I've ever heard in my life. Lie, lie, lie. He actually said this to me. He goes, I don't care if she sees me coming out of the club with a hooker. I tell her that wasn't me. You crazy. No way was that me.
Oh my God. And I know his wife.
Yeah, Gianna.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Gianna,
And,
if you're listening to this now, I hope you've already.
Yeah. And don't worry, OT didn't get away with
That's right.
anything.
Right. No.
Nothing.
And OT is not with us anymore.
Nah, he passed.
Yeah, he was a great guy though.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to, we can wrap things up
All right.
by having reasons to dislike these 2 people that cheated even more. Because we're really on the tail end of this story.
They're just ruining it for everybody.
I know. It says the HR executive, so the woman, her name is Kristen Kat. She married into one of the oldest, wealthiest families in Boston.
Oh, she did. I thought he did. Okay.
It says Kristen Kat, who is on leave from her job as astronomer following the embarrassing caught on Jumbotron incidents, blah, 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 appears to be married to Privateer Rum. Do you know that brand? Privateer Rum owner Andrew Cabot. Kristen Kat was caught on a Jumbotron at Coldplay with Andy Byron, who is the CEO. He has since resigned. It says that the allegedly jilted husband, so her alleged husband, touts her alleged jilted husband, the husband she's married to but she cheated on, allegedly, touts his family lineage as the 6th generation owner of the long-standing rum brand founded by the original Andrew Cabot that's called Privateer Rum. I've never heard of it, but I'm not a rum aficionado.
Wow.
The Cabot fortune has spanned generations and was estimated at $200 million in 1972.
Oh.
by the New York Times. That is $15.4 billion in 2025.
I wonder if that has something to do with the cheating, the money, the comfort, maybe the boredom.
Maybe. It says that she was previously married. They were divorced in 2022. She's served, according to her now deleted LinkedIn account, as an advisory board member at Privateer Rum since 2020. So think about that. She was divorced in 2022.
Yeah.
But she worked at this rum company whose founder she ended up marrying 2 years prior and was on the advisory board. So maybe not her first time cheating with a high-level executive.
That's what I'm thinking.
And yet she's in HR. She's the chief of people. And here's the final thing that will make you not like her, because that's my goal. The Cabot family is one of the original Boston Brahmin clans that controlled New England for centuries. It says a club so old, waspy, and distinguished that the Irish Catholic Kennedys are left out in the cold. They can't be friends with them because they're too lowbrow.
Wow.
For this family. The family that she married into, the woman that was caught cheating on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert, the family is so well known in Boston that it is said the following. This is a Boston poem that is recited often. And this is good old Boston, the home of the bean and the cod, where the Lowells talk only to Cabots and the Cabots talk only to God.
Good Lord.
And the saying in Boston is that the Cabots speak only to God.
Wow.
That's the kind of family she married into and disgraced.
And she's
Whoopsie daisy.
She's just a dirty-legged pirate.
She is. Privateer Rum. I've never heard of it, but apparently it's a thing.
So you would think in theory that she wouldn't need a job.
But why would you do that? If you are married, you have known this guy for at least 4 years, 5 years, because you were on his advisory board in 2020. Why would you cheat on him? And it's such a high-profile place and risk $15.2 billion.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure she probably has a prenup. I don't think she's getting any of that money.
Probably won't. Wow. And this guy resigned. The guy she's, what's his name?
Andrew.
Hold on, I have it here too. Andy Byron.
Byron, yeah. He resigned.
From his own company.
Yeah, and his wife is holed up in one of their houses.
One of their many mansions.
Yeah. So, and I feel bad for her too, frankly, and I think there's kids involved. I feel bad for them too.
Ooh, what if she's to blame? What if she drove him to cheating?
Oh, that's crap. There's no such thing.
Come on.
Oh, come on, Kenny.
Oh, she's
That's
frigid.
Not a thing. Oh, come on. God.
I don't know. I just feel it's my duty to.
Frigid is like a word from the 1970s.
I feel it's my job to defend men.
Frigid.
Yeah, it's her fault.
No, she wouldn't have sex with me. It's so mean.
Are we done here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's be done. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Sorry about today.
You know